Welcome to Conspiracy Corner Podcast, everyone. This is Abe, your host. It is July 9th, 2024. I need to remember to say the dates. The reason why is because a lot of these are older episodes that are going to be put out on Rumble. I'm going to put all my episodes out on Rumble, but I got like 260 something episodes, so a lot of stuff is banked, and I'm gonna put it out. Oops, excuse me, I just finished eating. And yeah, so I try to keep the date so that way I don't get like someone commenting like, why are you talking about this is old news, you know. It's like, well, it's an old episode, but I do believe that there are a lot of episodes that are timeless. Plus, I don't mind listening to old talk radio or stuff like that. I always found it interesting. Like, I listen to a lot of Art Bell. And it's kind of neat to see what was going on in the news at the time. And, like, old school conspiracies and shit. And, like, sometimes he would get into old school politics. He'd be talking about Bill Clinton and shit like that. So I don't know, it's interesting to me, you know. Okay, so let's talk a little business. I know that there are some people that don't like hearing about money, but I look at it like this. Like, you could be a content creator listening to this, so to me this is some advice for you. You might find the information helpful. So, my wife was off yesterday, but it wasn't yesterday, it was the day before. It doesn't matter. She's been doing some research on Rumble. And a lot of people have been talking about, like, man, everybody just needs to go to Rumble. Shit, my cigarette went out. It's better than YouTube, and it is better than YouTube as far as censorship, and YouTube just fucking blows, man. They censor everything. You can't say shit on there. You gotta self-censor. Something new that they're doing on YouTube, I actually wanted to cover this, so this is a good time to cover it. Pockets of the Future made a whole video on it and showed what I'm talking about. So YouTube, if you get a strike, they are making you take re-education test, like some 1984 shit. Like, this is what you did wrong now, and then you literally, it's like a college course. It's like school. They make you take a re-education class, and even after you, first of all, let me just explain it. Like, this is some 1984 shit. They tell you what you did wrong, then they make you read, like, a scenario, like a little short story, explaining to you what you did wrong. Then you have to take a multiple choice test, and like which is humiliating as fuck, because you know it's just fucking gaslighting, you know. Like, I think his strike was for like medical misinformation or something, so they're like, this is why vaccines are important, you know. And they made him like trying to brainwash you, dude. So they gave him like, Sally went to the doctor and, you know, got her vaccines, and then Debbie didn't. Debbie's now dead, you know. Do you see why this is important and what you said was harmful? YouTube, man, it's fucking insane. And this is why I say, dude, y'all got to get off YouTube and shit. Go check out that Pockets of the Future video, though. Not sure what it's titled. Just go through his channel and see if you can find it. It's gaslighting, and it's 1984 re-education shit. And YouTube, man, I don't understand. They have to be getting like some secret shady ass government funding or something, because it doesn't explain it. Like, why would you treat your employees like shit, content creators like shit, you know? And I truly think they're struggling. I think that's why they're dropping the bar on monetization and shit, as far as like making it easier to get monetized. Which brings me into Rumble. So I was excited about Rumble, and I assumed, which makes an ass out of you and me, I assumed that Rumble was basically like YouTube, like you just put out content, and which my videos are automatically monetized. I haven't had any monetization problems yet, knock on wood, you know, for Rumble. But here's how Rumble works. So you only start getting paid. This is the way my wife explained it to me. I'm going to explain it to you guys in layman's terms, because I'm dumb. You only start getting paid after like 1,000 views on a video, and they're already running ads on my shit, but it's not enough money to pay me anything. So they have, the only way to get paid is to do $10 a month. So I can do that right now. I can afford that. I really don't want to, because I'm not struggling financially, but I'm living with my mother-in-law, and she's struggling bad financially. So I'm going to try to help get her out of the hole. And it's an obtainable goal, as long as she doesn't keep putting herself deeper into the hole. So, that's why I'm actually working tonight. I'll get into that, because I want to talk more about that. This episode might be multiple subjects, but, so yeah, like, I'm not even gonna attempt to get monetized on Rumble until I get 1,000 views on at least one episode. Then I'll start paying $10 a month. And at first I thought like it was some scammer trying to scam my wife, but I looked at it and it's on Rumble. Like, they have a $10 a month, a $20 a month, or $25 a month, $50 a month, $100 a month, $1,000 a month, like different premium settings and shit. And you do get benefits, like it's kind of like YouTube Premium, of you don't have to watch commercials and ads and shit. But still, I'm like, I was a little disappointed and a little bummed, because I have like almost 300 episodes that I can put out on Rumble, and I was excited to actually start getting paid again for my work, you know? I put out a podcast episode almost every day, so like it would be nice to get paid for it, you know? So yeah, if you're a content creator and you're hearing everybody praise Rumble, you know, yes, it's an alternative site that's getting a lot of traction and it'll get you out there and shit, but you have to pay to get paid. So, and that's another thing too, like if I pay this $10 a month, am I going to be making enough to cover the bill and break even? And am I even going to be making any money? Like, even if it's like $5 a month that I would be making, like, at least that's something. That's like a hot and ready pizza from Little Caesars, or a pack of cigarettes, or a cup of coffee. Like, at least I'm getting something, you know? I just want to make it out of the hole with this channel, or break even, because I'm still going to podcast, but I don't think people realize like how much money you have to put in just to have a podcast. But to me, it pays for itself, because to me it's very therapeutic. I love talking, because I used to do like Adderall and shit, so like I feel like it kind of switched something on in my brain that makes me want to talk. And It's therapeutic for me. I'm getting free therapy out of it. So, oh, another thing with Rumble. They do have another option to where you don't have to pay anything, and Rumble takes its cut and they pay you whatever they want, and they become a distributor. But here's where it's different. I've actually, I had a sponsor back in the day. It was Anchor, and it got bought out by Spotify because Spotify got Joe Rogan on there. They started making a shit ton of money, and they started rising up in the ranks and just buying other companies out and shit. So I was bummed when I lost my Anchor Spotify, because I actually was getting paid to podcast. I made like $30 after 6 years of content creating, and yeah, I made $30 for like 250 episodes, you know. So if anyone, there's a lot of people who say, oh, if you're a conspiracy channel, you're doing this for money. It's like, first of all, why would you choose, like, it wouldn't make any sense. If you were doing it just for the money, it would not make sense to choose conspiracy, because conspiracy is literally like the most taken down, the most strikes, they are trying to destroy conspiracy content. Why do you think they banned TikTok? You know, they say that, oh, it was to protect the American people. No, it's not. You guys are in bed with China and shit. Like, you're not protecting us, you know. You just know that Generation Z is getting a lot of conspiracy information on there. That's my true, honest opinion, is people were getting a lot of conspiracy information on TikTok, and that's why they wanted to ban it. Has nothing to do with keeping us safe. But yeah, if people think you're grifting in the conspiracy realm, I mean you can grift, but to me, wouldn't it be smarter to choose some sort of path like gaming or OnlyFans? If you really want to make money online, that's where it's at, like OnlyFans or gaming or something. Not conspiracy, the hardest thing to make money off of. Like, I want to make money. Well, you aren't going to do it in conspiracy. You're going to end up spending more money. It becomes a project of passion. I consider this my art, you know. But anyways, so I dealt with something similar in the past. It was called Anchor. It was my sponsor / distributor. And here's the thing. I never had any issues of them trying to censor me or control my content. They distributed to several different websites. I never had any issue of them as my employer. This is why I don't want to do this deal with Rumble, because I don't know. I've heard Rumble is Canadian owned, so I'm scared that I would have to abide by Canadian laws. Another thing too is Anchor was just my distributor. At the end of the day, I owned my content. I don't know why that sounded weird coming out of my mouth. I owned it. I could say whatever the fuck I want. If I wanted to talk about Israel, I could talk about Israel. If I wanted to talk about the Talmud and the Jews, not that this channel is going to turn like the Jews control the world or nothing, but it was nice that I was able to talk about whatever the fuck I want working for Anchor, and never had any issues. You know, I was putting out, this was back when I was a Q-tard, I was putting out crazy ass psyop shit, not knowing at the time that I was in a psyop. Crazy shit like the Pope got arrested, and is he in Gitmo? Was there a gunfight at the Vatican because I seen some weird footage? And I don't know, just crazy fucking QAnon bullshit. I admit it. I was wrong. I fell for it. But they were still allowing me to distribute that shit. So I don't want to have Rumble be my distributor because it's different than Anchor. My wife was explaining it to me. They become the owners of my content. I no longer would own my content, which means they would be able to control what I say. And if I'm getting restrictions on what I say, yes, I'd be getting paid for it, but I want to be able to say whatever I want to say whenever I want to say it, and I don't like the idea of someone else owning my content. Yes, I would be getting paid for it, but that would be a sacrifice I would be making, as I would no longer be the owner of Conspiracy Corner Podcast. I would literally be signing over my podcast to them, so they would own it. And I don't like that, because then they can tell me, well, we actually don't like what you're saying. You can't talk about this, you can't talk about that. They could do crazy shit too, like they could fire me and put someone else as the host. They might be like, oh, this guy's more well-spoken and he's saying everything that we like. They could take my channel and turn it into like a right-wing conservative podcast, And here I would have to just sit here and look at my creation that I created just going down the drain, And I don't, this is my baby, So that's my only warning about Rumble. That's what I'm dealing with Rumble. Basically, I'm going to wait till I get like 1,000 views on one of my podcasts. And then I will do the $10 a month, so that way I can start making money off of it. But until then, I'm not making any money off of it, or off of my channel in general. So I figured I'd tell you guys what's going on with Rumble. If you're a content creator, hopefully now you guys get some information, what to do and what not to do, and you can make your own decision on that info that I gave you. So we'll get into the next segment. Alright, so I had to cool off a little bit. I told you guys this is my mobile sweat lodge. I don't have AC in this car, so I had to turn on the fan, turn the car on. Because it's an older car, you can't just run off the battery. It will die. Roll the window down, so if you hear someone working on a car over there, sorry. It is what it is. You guys know how it is. I do a lot of podcasts in the parking lot where I work, because I usually get up early and that gives me time to do a podcast. So I wanted to keep this as a surprise. So in the past, I have done like little skits and my attempt at comedy. Some people think it's funny. Like, I've just done weird stuff, like little taste test videos. I've done weird challenges, like eating a banana whole and entire without peeling it, chugging raw eggs, like weird shit like that. Doing a taste test on caviar. So go check out, once in a blue moon, I do a skit. And like I said, most people think it's funny. I think I'm funny, but I'm not being egotistical, but I do have a weird sense of humor, and I'm by no means like some Alex Stein or Andy Kaufman or something, but I don't know. Every now and then I like to lighten the mood and do some comedy. So I was going to honestly just surprise you all with a wrestling promo, because I have some like tight leopard print leggings that like flare out at the bottom like bell bottoms, and I wear them around the house, or I used to when I lived alone with my wife. For one, they're super comfortable, and I ain't gonna lie, I've always been if I was rich, I've always said this, I would dress like Steven Tyler. I'm just a weird dude and I like weird fashion. But I just can't afford the fashion that I want. And I have a day job and shit, so I can't be wearing leopard skin tights to work and shit. But if I was rich, hell yeah, I would be wearing scarves and bracelets and rings, and I would look ridiculous walking around in public, and I don't care. I'm just a crazy person. But I was like, man, these kind of look like wrestling pants. So I wanted to get those, maybe like a fake wrestling belt from Walmart, some weird, like, ridiculous 80s style glasses, and I wanted to film a wrestling promo, accepting a challenge. So, Jacob Israel put out a debate challenge. From my understanding, The Quartering, which is an awesome channel. Let's talk about The Quartering for a little bit, because I love The Quartering. I love his content. A lot of people, like Jacob for one, was saying that he's like right-wing. He's not fucking right-wing. I would consider him a moderate or a classic liberal like me. He is voting for Trump, and he did say that he is a Trump guy. He's on the Trump train. He admitted that in a video the other day. But first of all, he's even said, like, I'm not right-wing, dude. I'm not conservative. I wish people would stop saying that about people. Like, I'm sure people would watch this and be like, oh, Abe's a conservative, you know? Because I've had people call me conservative and shit, and I'm like, I am not a fucking conservative, dude. It kind of pisses me off. But The Quartering, another thing too, he has mentioned before Sam Tripoli. So Sam Tripoli is on The Quartering's radar. Sam Tripoli mentions him all the fucking time. I was watching The Quartering. He always calls him the Quarterling. Because you know Sam, he says, one of his famous quotes is, I failed first grade twice. I'm illiterate. I'm literally illiterate, man. He has trouble speaking and stuff, and always butchers the guest name and shit like that. I think it's funny. It's just one of his little. He's an awesome speaker, but he does struggle, you know, with reading and writing and shit like that. I think he's harder on himself than he actually is, but he mentions the Quarterling all the time. So if for some reason the Quartering watches this, which I doubt, maybe somebody can send it to him or something, because I'm really not on that many social media. Dude, or Sam Tripoli, if Sam Tripoli's watching, get him on tinfoil hat, bro. Or, I don't know, do some sort of swap cast with him or something, because you talk about him all the time, Sam. When are you going to get him on, bro? That's a request from me, man. I would love to see that interview. I think it'd be great. But that was my little side rant. The Quartering, the other day did a flat earth debate, which was pretty cool. I didn't watch it. I'm not going to lie. It could be good. I don't know. But they did like a whole flat earth debate podcast episode, which is pretty fucking dope in my opinion. But I guess I could be wrong. The way Jacob Israel was explaining it, because I was watching Jacob Israel, is he was going on there to debate someone. And I guess the Quartering is now hosting debates now, which is cool. I get it. It's a good move as far as the podcasting game. I love debates. I used to be a big fan. Like, I really got hooked on debates when I was struggling a lot at the time with religion. I was super anti-Christian, which I've kind of chilled out on that. Yeah, this is me chilled out on anti-Christian. I'm sure somebody will say, you call this chilled out, you know, because I am still pretty anti-Christian, but it's like, no, actually, I'm super chill compared to how I used to be. But I used to watch like Christopher Hitchens debates. I love Christopher Hitchens. I'm not an atheist. I never have been an atheist. But I do like watching Richard Dawkins and Christopher Hitchens. Sam Harris sucks. I don't like Sam Harris. He's an idiot. But I just love watching debates and shit. And Jacob Israel did a debate on there, apparently. I'll have to check it out. But he put out a challenge on his channel that he wants to start debating people. So what I was going to do was film a wrestling promo and just surprise you all. And just come out in character as a wrestler, doing a wrestling promo, accepting Jacob Israel's challenge. Which I can still do. I mean, you know about it now, but I was going to do it as a surprise, but the only reason I'm bringing it up in this podcast is because I did a podcast 2 episodes ago called Responding to Comments, where somebody else challenged me to a debate about voting, which I'll accept any debate, you know. I'm not scared. If anything, it's content, you know. But I was going to already accept Jacob Israel's debate, and I'm not putting this person down, but it looked like this was just a regular person who wanted to debate me on voting. Why even vote? He sounds like he's kind of black-pilled. But it's a regular dude. I don't even think the dude creates content or anything. Which I'll talk to anyone. I don't care. But when there's bigger fish in the sea who are challenging people to debates, I'm not gonna lie, my main focus is on that Moby Dick, that white whale. Because I know, as a content creator who would like to do this for a living, Jacob Israel is the big shark that I want. He's the white whale right now. So, Jacob Israel, if you're watching, I accept the challenge to the debate. Hit me up. All my email information should be on one of my 2 YouTube channels in the description or about. If not, hit me up in the comments. We'll figure out some way to get in contact with each other. And my debate is still, I still accept the other guy's debate too. So I'm accepting 2 debates. 2 people want to debate. Jacob Israel's, his was more of an open-ended one. He just told people that he's feeling feisty and he's feeling in the mood to debate people. So, yeah, I accept. I'm still probably going to film the wrestling promo so I can talk major smack in a new alter ego that I created. I have to come up with a wrestling name and shit. Maybe because I got leopard skin pants, maybe I'll do like a leopard themed wrestling character. I think that would be ridiculous and stupid. And I grew up on, it's actually very fitting because I grew up watching wrestling. And a lot of people don't know this, but Jacob Israel used to write scripts for WWE. And he actually wrestled a little bit. I still can't find that match. I sat there one time trying to find this match. Jacob Israel said he actually did step into the ring and do a little bit of wrestling. And hey, that's another thing. Jacob, if you're watching, do you have that footage of that wrestling match? Because as someone who's a nerd, a wrestling nerd, and grew up on it, I want to see that match. I sat there and looked for it for like an hour one time, trying to find it on YouTube. I couldn't fucking find it. My only fear, well, first of all, let me get into, I am not smart when it comes to tech savvy shit. I just get behind the mic and talk shit on my podcast, and my wife does all the tech work, and she tries to teach me, but I'm a burnout. Eventually I do learn. We got a new video program I have to totally relearn how to do. I just need like more time. Like I've been working 50 hours a week on my day job, so like I just don't have time, dude. And when I do have time, she's day shift, I'm night shift. Maybe this is a lot of shit that we'll work on because we have a vacation. I think it's next week, so that'll give us a week at home staying together, and I can learn all this shit. I'll have to figure out how we're debating, where we're debating. Are we debating on the quartering? Are we debating over Zoom, just me and you? Yeah. But my wife, I don't know if I mentioned it on the channel, so here's a little update with the channel. My wife actually went to a free Filmora class at the library, because she went to the library the other day and she found like a flyer or a magazine that tells they do free classes and stuff. And I was like, honey, I actually wanted to get off work for it and go with her so that way we could both learn. But it was like a legit course on how to do Filmora, which is our new video editing software. So she's more knowledgeable on it. She's been helping me get stuff out, you know. She's my tech girl as far as the podcast. But we'll have to figure something out. Like, I've used Zoom. I know how to use Zoom, but I don't know how to record on Zoom. If I have to pay for it, and I'll pay for it, because in the long run, the traffic that would get brought in to have a debate with Jacob Israel would be awesome for my podcast. Yeah, that's a big name in the conspiracy community. So if I got the chance to debate him, it would be awesome as far as like bringing in new viewers and new listeners and shit. So we'll have to figure that out. I'll try to get in touch. The only thing I worry about, I'm not gonna lie, is I have the biggest fear, because I'm gonna kiss ass for a little bit. I'm actually a super big fan of Jacob Israel. I found him years ago when he was talking about the Mandela effect. That's how I found him. I discovered the Mandela effect. So for like, first of all, it screwed me up for like 3 days. Like I could barely eat. I was depressed. I felt terrified, scared. It messed me up when I first found out about the Mandela effect. But one of his channels he was talking about the Mandela effect. That's how I found Jacob Israel, and I subscribed to him and started watching his content. He even says at the time, talking about that subject, like Mandela effect and Nibiru and Planet X were like kind of helped blow his channel up. But I think at the time he was still like a mattress salesman or a car salesman, some form of salesman, is when I first started watching him. So I'm a fan from way back. I'm just scared. I did a video on famous people that I've met, and I told a story about meeting, so go check that podcast out. I told a story about meeting Doyle Wolfgang von Frankenstein, the guitarist from the Misfits, and how he turned out to be, quite frankly, an asshole. And it almost ruined it. Like, it almost ruined my birthday night, my birthday present from my wife, going to his concert. I gotta roll back up. I was trying to cool off, but that noise, man. So I've always heard the phrase, but that was the first time I experienced don't meet your heroes. Not that Jacob Israel is like a hero. I see him as a coworker. I see him as he never really inspired me to podcast or create content like other people have done that, but I like him. You know, I see him as someone who could possibly be a friend. And I want to go in with the attitude of, I will debate you, but let's be civil. You know, there's no point in being mean. There's no point in being hateful or holding grudges. Like, dude, this is to create content. At the end of the day, we're just creating content and entertainment for people. So I kind of want to go in with that attitude and talk to him ahead of time. Like, look, I actually want to be friends, and maybe we can do some podcast episodes after the debate together, or maybe we could, you know, even just be friends and send each other some links here and there of like, hey, check this rabbit hole out. You know, if you get good info, send it my way. If I get good info, I'll send it your way, you know. So I want to be civil during the debate, and I would like to become friends and remain friends after the debate. The only thing I'm scared of is if he would be immature about it and just be like, I don't like you. You know, especially where I'm an occultist. That worries me and concerns me, because he's like a Christian. So I don't know. And if I do meet him and it turns out he's a jerk, then so be it. I'm a grown adult. I can handle it. I'm not going to go and cry. I'm not going to talk shit about you. I mean, I might make a video about how I met Jacob Israel and turns out the guy sucks, but I hope not. You know, that's my only fear, is meeting someone who I've looked up to as a content creator, and that they might be an asshole in real life. Because I do have some concerns, man. He's put out, like, he was like picking fights with Ricky Gervais. He was picking fights with, talking smack about Russell Brand becoming a Christian and getting baptized and bringing up his past and shit. And I don't know, if he's like talking smack about other content creators, it worries me that he would be like not a cool guy in person, that maybe what he puts out on the channel is just a persona and shit. And who knows? I don't know. He could be the nicest, coolest MFer ever, you know, or he could be a complete asshole. I guess if he accepts the challenge, we'll find out. But that's my only worry. So yeah, I do accept the challenge, and I do want to debate him. I just want it to be civil. I want it to be cool. I want everybody to be nice. Keep shit cool. That's about it for what's going on with the channel. And I am going to, if he does accept the challenge, maybe that'll be a good catalyst. If he accepts the challenge, then maybe I'll do the wrestling promo. So look forward to that if he accepts. And that's all I really wanted to talk about on this episode. I had more, but we hit the 30-minute mark, and I don't want to go off the rails too much. Hope you guys enjoyed. That's what's going on, and have a good day.